everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today I am coming with a September wrap up. It's been so long since I've done like an actual monthly wrap up. I know I just did my summer reading wrap up, but like the fact that I actually read enough this month to provide a reading wrap up, I just gotta give cheers. I gotta pat myself on the back. Like, wow, I've come so far in the past few months. I gotta give myself a little bit of credit here because y'all know I've been struggling, but I have a few books to talk about with you today. And it is just a few. I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't read that much in September. I was trying to cram in a lot of books at once to the point where I didn't end up finishing half of what I started. So I'm gonna be talking about the 4 books that I did finish, and then because I feel like that's too little of an amount, I'm going to be telling you guys about the books that I am currently reading. I'll be talking about that at the end of this video after I'm done with my wrap up. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First book I have is one that I am so sad to talk about because I was looking so forward to reading this series and I didn't end up liking it. So like I'm actually really upset. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. First book in the Scholomance series, Scholomance. If you don't know what A Deadly Education is, it is a dark academia book. I don't know why I'm struggling. Hold on. I don't think I wrote a review for this because I was just like so upset in the moment that I didn't write one. All I gave it was 2 stars and then I exited out of Storygraph. So I can tell you how I feel about this. It follows 2 characters, Elle or Galadriel. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna get into like my gripes with the book in a second, but like one of the main things that was confusing me about this book was the character's name, because no one was referring to her as her full name. Everyone was referring to her as Elle, and I was like, what the fuck is her name? Sorry. But yeah, it follows Elle and Orion. Elle is our main character of this book, and she is just trying to get through her last like 2 years of school. She and everyone else in the school is working towards like becoming basically a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. No, like it is that. It gives that. We're following her in her junior year. She's trying to do everything to pass, but this boy Orion keeps getting in her way by saving her life. Like she's sick of this boy. This boy keeps on like coming to her rescue and she's like, leave me the hell alone. And the reason why she's like that is because she doesn't have any friends. No one really goes out of their way to talk to her, get to know her, because she's, I don't really know why. She's like standoffish and a little weird, but like I have the opinion that everyone in this school is very weird, so I didn't really understand why no one wanted to talk to her. But because Orion goes out of his way to save her multiple times and tries to start conversation with her, she thinks that he's trying to play her, use her for grades, like all of this random stuff. And throughout the book they slowly develop a friendship, and as they work together in the school, they also find out something wicked this way comes in this school. It's kind of a boarding school, so like they're kind of blocked off from the world. The way that they describe this school, it's like in the middle of a vortex that's nowhere. Like they're not on Earth. So I don't really know, but like the school is in the middle of basically nowhere in the universe. And when they find out that something is going on in the school, it is up to Elle, Orion, and the rest of the students to solve it, fix it, or else they might die. Okay, cool, let's talk about it. This book confused the hell out of me, and I don't know if it's because like I'm slow or maybe because the way it's told, because this book is told in first person. You are following Elle's perspective as she goes through the story with Orion and whatever's going on in the school, whatever. I feel like the way that Elle explained things was very much like reminiscent of like how a teenager would explain something. Very run-on sentence, like kind of like emo, like that's her whole thing. She's like, I just want to be alone, like everyone keeps bothering me and I just don't know why. And the way that she would explain the world and the magic system, it just kind of flew over my head. And I didn't like that, because when it came down to the big conflict of like how the magic is supposed to be used to save the students, I didn't understand what was happening. Like, that was my biggest gripe of all, was the fact that like the way that Naomi Novik wrote this book in Elle's perspective was just a letdown. Like, there's a way to do first person perspective, especially with a character like Elle, who has like a lot of layers, and being in her head throughout this book was really helpful to understand her understanding of people, her environment, and this world that she lives in. Like, I didn't mind the first person perspective. It's the way that it was written to describe the world itself that really bothered me. I just wasn't liking it all that much. And yeah, this book made me feel really slow, and I feel like it shouldn't have been that hard to understand at all. Like, the further I got into it, the more confused I got, which is the opposite of what's supposed to be happening. Every time Elle described the magic, I was so lost. I think this is how I processed when I was reading. From what I understand, this magic system, it is based off of the students stealing magic from inanimate objects. Like, there would be times where Elle would literally work out, do push-ups in her room to get magic in her system to cast a spell. But then there were other times, and I don't know if this is a spoiler, I don't think so. There are other times when like a student would steal power from another student, and I don't like, it's not like their magic just comes out of nowhere. They have to literally work to get it, and the way that they get it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, thinking about this book just gives me a headache. Other than that though, I liked the development of Elle and Orion's relationship, friendship. I think that the banter was the selling point of this book. It's not categorized as a romance because it honestly isn't. Like, in this book, their friendship is just very wholesome to me, and I think that was my favorite part of it. But even then, it didn't really save the book. It was just so weird. Like, I can't describe this book without like getting really irritated. I wish I wrote notes down, but I remember I was just really upset. I was really upset. The pacing of this book also felt off, because I think that this book takes place in the span of like a week, and yet so much was happening. Yeah, I gotta stop talking about this. I gave it 2 stars. I do have the sequel. I don't think I'll be reading it, which again makes me so sad. I've been hearing great things about specifically the first book of this series for so long, and I hate that I hated it. That's a shame. It's a real shame, but we move on. We live and we learn. The next book that I ended up reading in September was a part of a series that I talked about in my last video. Play Along by Liz Tom Ford, the 4th book in the Windy City series. I think I talked about this like a video or 2 ago. I can't remember. I was reading the 3rd and 4th book back to back. Like, when I tell you I couldn't put those books down to save my life, I really meant it. I could not put those books down. So as soon as I finished the 3rd one, which I talked about in my last wrap up, I immediately started the 4th one, which follows the main character from the 3rd book's brother. If you guys remember, the 3rd book is about Kai and Miller, and it's a baseball romance. This one follows Kai's brother, who's on the same baseball team as him, and Kennedy, who is, she's like the lead doctor for the team. So when the like players get injured, they go to her. What can I say about this book that I haven't already said about the others? I gave this one a 5-star, and yet I still didn't write anything down. Marina, you need to be more consistent. This is crazy, because this one I have no excuse. I don't know why I didn't write anything down for this one. That's crazy. You guys know, for the most part, when it comes to like every book in this series, I think I've given it below 5. Like, it's been close to 5, but never actually a 5-star. I think the only one I gave a 5-star was the first one, I think. Let me actually check that. No, I gave the first one 4 stars. Okay, yeah, this is the first book in the series that I gave a 5-star, which is interesting to me because I've never heard anyone talk about Play Along. Like, this 4th book is one that like everyone kind of leaves out of conversation, and I don't know why. This one, Liz Tom Ford, you're always cooking, but like, was the gas on? Was the gas on? This book follows, again, Kai's brother. His name is Isaiah. I don't know if I said that. Isaiah and Kennedy. And Isaiah has been flirting with Kennedy for literally years. You see that a lot in Kai's book. Like, in the background, Isaiah would be flirting with Kennedy, and she will be minding her business because she has a job to do. But also because in the 3rd book, it's hinted at that she is married or was or engaged. She was engaged to someone, and in the third book she's not anymore, and so you kind of see Kai lay it on heavy, the flirtations, okay? But again, you don't see much of it until this book that follows the two of them. And it starts off with Kai having a boys night gathering thing in Vegas, and Kennedy being there for her sister's what's that called, bachelorette party. And the tea is her sister is actually marrying her ex-fiance. So she hates her life right now. She doesn't even want to be at this bachelor party. And then she runs into Kai. And you guys know what happens in Vegas, right? Right? Yeah, she ends up drunkenly getting engaged. No, not even engaged. Married to, not Kai, Isaiah. And I'm like word vomiting. I think it's because I'm so excited. They end up staying together because one of the few rules Kennedy has while working for the Windy City baseball team is that she can't date anyone on the team because her superior tells her she can't, which is like, whatever, that's cool, unless they're married. If they're married, then there's nothing they can really do about that. Like, it's one thing to be dating, because then like if you break up, something could go awry, communication could get twisted, like it's a whole thing. If they're married though, good for them. So they plan to stay together because if they end up breaking up, it could cause a lot of confusion, and her boss is also really sexist, misogynistic pig, so he's gonna probably end up blaming her and firing her. So she needs this marriage to last long enough until she gets a new job somewhere else, because she was already planning on that. She not hates, but like she does not like her boss for the reasons I mentioned before. So she's already planning on getting another job. This elopement kind of just sped the process up. Whereas with Isaiah, he's down bad for this girl. So down bad. He's gonna prove to her in like the few months that he has left before she leaves for another job that he is the one for her. So you guys know me. I love a man that pines. In any romance. Any man that pines, yearns, love that shit. So I think that's why I gave this book 5 stars. I just think Isaiah is such an interesting man. Like, out of all of the guys in this series, there's a lot to unpack with Isaiah, because like I've said before, he is the younger brother of Kai, and you get to see their dynamic as brothers a lot in book 3, but I feel like in this one you get to unpack why Isaiah is the way he is, because he's usually known as like the happy-go-lucky kid, whereas Kai was the one who kind of raised him when they were growing up. So Kai was always more stern and serious. And to unpack why Isaiah is the way that he is in this book, which is really, what's the word? Refreshing, I guess you could say. Like, it's one thing to be like a golden retriever boyfriend. Tell me how you got this way. Why are you always so smiley? And because Kennedy is the opposite. Kennedy is the definition of what I would like to think black cat energy. Like, she does not understand Isaiah's infatuation with her, because she thinks it's infatuation. Meanwhile, that guy is literally in love with her. She's like, oh, it'll pass. Like, he flirts with everyone. He likes everyone. What he has for me, it's not real. I'm sure he's gonna get over it sooner rather than later. And little to her knowledge, he's in this shit for the long run. And so their dynamic was just really fun. Like, I already knew, because in book 3 of how they talk to each other, that the banter in this book would be off the charts, so good. But guys, we need to start talking about play along more. Like, why is no one talking about this? Stop, my favorite show is on. Like, I think we should all be talking about this. And one thing I would like to mention, I feel like the pacing of this book is the best so far that I've read out of all of Liz Tom Ford's books, because remember my last complaint for book 3 was that I feel like it was a lot of conflict back and forth that just didn't need to happen. I feel like that book could have been shortened by like at least 50 pages. This one, it was like around the same. It was like 384 pages. Yeah, and I had no complaints. The whole entire thing was just immaculate. The chemistry between Kennedy and Isaiah, I ate it up. Unpacking Kennedy's family, because again, her sister, terrible person. Her family's terrible. Unpacking both of their familial situations, like, there was just so much character depth that I feel like was not dragged out too much. It fit well with like the story and the character arcs that were happening separately along with the romance itself. It was just everything I would have wanted from a romance. It was so good. Like, thinking about it, it makes me like yeah, I gave this 5 stars. Justice for play along. Like, I don't know why TikTok doesn't want to talk about this one. Everyone likes to talk about The Right Move, and I get it. I get it. But like, where's the noise for play along? I am thinking honestly about getting physical copies of these. Not that I should, because I have bought too many books. I need to not do that. But the fact that I have enjoyed pretty much every single one of these books is crazy to me. Like I said in my previous wrap up, there's usually one book in a contemporary romance series that's just not like the others in terms of like how great it is. All of these are really, really good. And wow, I can't get enough of these. Like I said before, I'm gonna take my time in getting to the 5th one. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I don't want to finish these too quickly, and I think there's only one more book out after this one, and it came out months ago. I don't want to read it yet, because then like, what am I gonna do? I can pace myself, I swear I can. The next book that I read in September is one that I mentioned, I think, in my book haul, so this shouldn't really come as a shock to you guys. The Dragon Wakes with Thunder by KX Song. Take a moment to just take in this cover and the sprayed edges. I know I already showed you guys, but I just really love this cover. Pretty sure you guys know I love it because I think I spent like a good 10 minutes raving about it in that book haul video. So I don't really have anything to say. What did I don't think I gave it 5 stars though, so maybe I should talk about it. Yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. This duology, what a wild ride this was. As someone who is being introduced to KX Song, I think everyone is. This is, I think, her first story, her first duology, first book, whatever. I highly recommend it. I do. Though I didn't give this book as high of a rating as the first one, and I'm going to talk about why in a second. I just want to start off the review by saying everyone should read this duology. Everyone. Go. No, stop the video. I give you permission. Stop the video, go to your local bookstore, Barnes & Noble, not Amazon, get this duology, come back to me when you finished it, and let's talk, because I don't know anyone else who's reading this right now, and I think I'm just trying to put you guys onto good literature. Like, that's all I'm trying to do here. This is the sequel to The Night Ends with Fire, and I read that one 2 years ago, and it kind of took over my life. I read it based off of a friend's recommendation because she was obsessed with it, and that's usually how it goes for me, as you guys are aware. So like I said, it didn't take much. I read it and I was fiending for the sequel. So when this came out, I told you guys, I immediately bought it when I saw it, and I read it, and now I'm here to talk about it with you guys today. I think this one I actually did write a review. If you guys don't know what this duology is about, it follows our main character Mei Lin, who is Mulan in this sense. This is a Mulan retelling. So Mei Lin, our main character, is kind of Mulan. You guys know the story of Mulan. I feel like I don't need to break it down to you. She pretends to be a man, goes off to war because she like really just craves independence, and along the way she meets her man, gets married, happily ever after. That's the tale you guys all know and love. Let's talk about this. Basically, the same thing happens in book 1, where Mei Lin strives for her freedom and her independence and does not want to get married. Like, she does not give a damn about men. She doesn't really understand what the hype is about marriage, and her whole life she has just wanted to be free from the patriarchy. So she ends up in the middle of the night running away, pretending to be her twin brother, who she does not have. She does not have a twin brother at all. She pretends to be her twin brother and goes off to fight a war, and she wants to win the war just so she can come back and let the world know, hey, a woman did this. Me, I am that woman, bow down to me. So she's doing it out of just like pride and ego, and I love her for that. The twist though is that while Mulan is working with the dragons, I guess you could say Mei Lin is also working with dragons, but they're also just known as like phoenixes. This phoenix comes to her while she's in the middle of training and tells her that he can give her whatever she wants if she works with him. And of course, because Mei Lin wants to do everything and anything to prove that she is just as good, if not better, than these men in the field, she agrees to work with this phoenix, not knowing that there is a price to pay for working with phoenixes. She'll discover a lot about the power of a phoenix and the world beyond spirits and phoenixes, and how the world that she has always known is not what it seems when the veil between spirits and humans is slowly unveiling, and she has to do everything in her power to save it, but also that's not really a part of her plan. She's kind of like, I didn't sign up for this, I just want to win a war just so I can say I told you so. So she's kind of going back and forth with herself throughout this whole entire, at least first book. In the first book she is, and in the second book she is dealing with the consequences of her actions from the first book. I'm trying to do everything I can to not give away what this book is, because it is a sequel. So in order to know what's going down in this, you have to read the first one. Please read the first one. Please, I'm begging you, so that we can talk about this together, because I would like to know other people's thoughts. I gave this a 3.5 because although this I feel like was a great finale for a fantasy, I don't think it was the perfect book, and that's okay. Although I really liked Maylin's story and the way it ended, I guess. Do I like the ending? Yeah, I like the ending. Although I liked Maylin's story and I like the ending of the book, I feel like throughout the story the pacing was just off. And I don't know if it's because it's a duology and so you know there's a lot you have to get through story-wise in order for it to conclude in like a nice little bow. But it just felt like the pacing of this book was so weird. Like there was a lot of world building happening throughout this book, and I was like, why are we just now discovering this when there's like 100 pages left? Like, what's going on? I just like, I love seeing Maylin's journey and her trying to figure out what she wants from her journey. Like throughout the entire 2 books, she has always been the type of character, the type of woman to just want people to acknowledge her for being as powerful as any man has. Every man in her life has had power over her, and she just wants to be acknowledged for that power, and she will do anything for that validation. But then in this book she kind of like tries to figure out if that's even enough for her. Like she doesn't even know what she wants out of life besides the validation of men and how that can feed into her, not even just like from men but also from women. She just wants validation from everyone so people can acknowledge that she's the best. And I like that in this book she's unpacking why she needs that so bad and what her story should actually mean outside of like the male gaze. Like everything about Maylin and her story is great. What I didn't like was the pacing. I also felt like this is a gripe that I've had since I read ACOTAR for the first time years ago. So long ago that I don't even bring up ACOTAR anymore because it actually is a series that makes me upset. This book followed one of the tropes in ACOTAR where for some reason in the love triangle, because you know there always has to be a love triangle, I don't want to talk about it in this series. This is the only time I'm going to mention it. KX Song did something in the love triangle that I hate, where the author tries to make one of the love interests that you used to love in the first book irredeemable in the second book to make the other love interest look better. And I just think, in my opinion, that's lazy writing. It's one of my least favorite tropes in like romance books, is when like it just feels like a cop-out. It feels like a really ridiculous cop-out when in all of this build up for the love triangle of who is she gonna pick, who is he gonna pick, who are they gonna pick, and you're just gonna make this character do something really messed up to force my hand into choosing someone else. Granted, I already liked the other love interest. You did not need to make the main love interest that terrible for me to like the other one. I was already rooting for him, you know? So yeah, I just feel like when the authors do that, it's like lazy, because you see the main love interest that Maylin is in love with in the first book, and you see their journey in the first book, and he's showing none of those signs that he's as bad as he is in the second book. And then you open the second book and you're like, oh, you know, like it's one of those things where I'm just like, wait, why am I so upset with you? Why are you like this? I don't know this man. It's like it was trying to rewrite history in a way that I did not appreciate. Unless maybe I need to read the first book. Maybe the signs were always there, but I feel like they weren't. I feel like authors need to stop doing that. If you're gonna do a love triangle, commit to the love triangle. You don't need to make one of the love interests irredeemable and evil, basically, in order to bring up the potential of the other love interests and have people root for them. That's ridiculous. Stop doing that. It made me actually upset, like really, really bad. Besides that, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 3.5 because, like I said, the pacing was off and the love triangle romance aspect was really grinding my gears. Like, we have shit to do, and yet we're talking about love. Like, please. And it's not, again, it's not a romance. See, I feel like the fantasy was the main focal point of the book, but every time the love triangle was brought up, I was like, oh, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. I would highly recommend it. please, because I really want to know other people's takes on this. I don't see anyone ever talk about this duology, and I don't know why, because it's really good. Stop what you're doing, go buy it, go read it, let me know. Also, I wrote down that I enjoyed the character Kuro and wouldn't mind a prequel just focused on him and his story. So KX if you're watching this, Kuro, give him a story, because Kuro's story, he's a character that we get introduced to in this book, and I feel like there's so much to talk about with him. Like, we got to know him and then like the story ended, and I would just like to know more. So if you ever think about like continuing on with this world and building off of it, his story is one that you easily could. I would eat it up. Please give that to me, KX if you're watching this. Yeah, that was The Dragon Wakes with Thunder. Okay, on to the last book that I read in September. This one was one that I also mentioned in my book haul video that I said that I might read in September. I did end up reading this, and this was another 5-star read. I read Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah, and this book, this is such a great book. I have no words. If you guys don't know what this book is about, this follows prisoners who are trying to get their freedom by killing each other in like wrestling brawls. You follow different prisoners in different prisons and how the prison system has impacted them in their life, and what crime they committed, why they committed what they did, and how the hell they even got to this point in their lives. And it makes you feel for every single character, minus the bad people, obviously, because this book is kind of dystopian in a way. It kind of honestly, it reminds me a little bit of the Hunger Games, with the way that like the dystopian factors play into it, because like there's like a lot of high-tech stuff going on. But besides that, it is a very original story to me. I've never read anything like this before. Yeah, we follow many different wrestlers, prisoners, you could say, and we follow people who are also behind this system, who have built this system and profit off of this system, because also people are able to watch these prisoners fight. Like there's like a whole monopoly behind this. It's kind of like an ESPN service where people can watch from home prisoners kill each other in order to access their freedom. And it's so dystopian that it's actually like not, in a way. Like, it makes me scared how real this book is, but it also made me love it 10 times more. In this book though, we follow specific criminals. We follow criminals that are under, okay, I don't remember what the prison is called, but we follow a specific group of fighters from a specific prison. And in that group, we follow the character Thurwall. She's kind of our main character, and she is very close to gaining her freedom. In order to gain their freedom, they, like I said, have to kill each other, but they have to do that for years. Like, there are different levels to this. Like, once you kill a certain amount of people and win enough fights, that's when you can get out. And I think it lasts for like 3 years. So Thurwall is like one fight away from gaining her freedom, but the people in charge are not making it easy for her to leave, because I think she would become the first prisoner in this industry to gain her freedom back. And so there are a lot of obstacles she has to face with her and her partner Stax, who is her girlfriend, who's on the same team. They have to face a lot of obstacles with each other, and just everything about this book was just jaw-dropping, and it broke my heart. I have to say that it really just like hit me in the gut, in the heart, in the chest, in the groin. It did everything, to the point where it took me like a really long time to read it. There were some chapters that I had to put it down because it got real, because this is obviously a commentary on the real prison system and how it negatively impacts its inmates. And there are a lot of takes on abolitionism in here, and you could tell that the author, he's very articulate and purposeful with his choices of how he writes this story. It has many different perspectives, like I said. Though we are following the main character Thurwall and her chain gang, we're also following outside perspectives, like children of the prisoners or people who watch this network of television and why they enjoy it. We're also following the families that are affected by the people who committed these crimes. We're following so many different points of views that it kind of doesn't want to push a narrative on you. The author did a good job of making sure that this book makes you think about all aspects of how the prison system doesn't just impact the criminal but impacts the people surrounding it. And I think that's it was a beautiful way to show it. Also very dark, don't get me wrong. It's a very dark book. I would suggest checking the trigger warnings. I don't think they're in here, but like, it's everything you could possibly imagine a book about like a dystopian prison system is about. Like, you can imagine what it is, but I would also suggest you seriously look up the trigger warnings, because this book is no joke. We also follow like a chain gang duo from a different prison, and their story was just very heartbreaking, and everything about it was just sad. I'm gonna like tear up, oh my god. The point is, I give it 5 stars, and I think if like you really want like excellent out of body, out of world commentary on the way abolitionism works and how the prison system works and how different groups in different prisons are affected and impacted from like a fictionalized point of view, I would suggest reading this. It was excellent. It was excellent. No notes. I have no notes. Like, when I'm thinking about this book and I think I want to reread it, but then again, I'm also like, no, Marina, you're not emotionally prepared. I wasn't even emotionally prepared when I read it the first time, so maybe I should like not do that. But I've recommended this book to everyone. I've heard really great things about this book, to be fair. Like, I went into it knowing that everyone who has read it has loved it, and then when I told my friends I was reading it, they were also really excited because they have yet to read it and they really wanted to know my thoughts. Like, I know so many people in my personal life that have heard of this book and yet has not picked it up and read it. So this is me telling you, if you've heard of this book, or if you haven't even heard of this book, the hype is real, the hype is deserved. You need to pick this up and go read it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, those were all the 4 books that I read in the month of September, but now I'm gonna talk to you guys about the books that I am currently reading. To be honest, full transparency, I'm not technically reading anything right now, and it's not because I haven't been reading. I just finished a book before I started this video. I ended up finishing one of my classics that I set a goal to read this month, Frankenstein, and without giving too much away, because that's for an October spoiler, I really liked it, and that's all I'm gonna say. And then I'm also reading a book that wasn't on my TBR, but I forgot this book was coming out this month, and so now I have to read it because it's by an author that I love, and I just didn't take into account the fact that this book was coming out this month. So though it's not on my official TBR for my TBR video, I'm going to read it. I'm gonna make time for it. So I'm starting this book tonight. I will be reading Safety Net by Deanna Gray, which is the 3rd book in the Mendel Hawkes romance series. This is arguably one of my favorite like romance hockey series, and I feel like not enough people talk about it, so this is me talking about it. This book follows one of my favorite characters, Lincoln, and one of the main characters from the previous book's best friends. I think her name is Celeste. And they have been hinted at multiple times in the previous books, and I've been so excited. The author has been posting about them a lot on like her Instagram and her story and stuff, and everything she posts about them makes me giddy with excitement. So yeah, I'm prioritizing this right now. Where's my Kindle? I'm gonna get out my Kindle tonight and I'm gonna start this. It's a no-brainer, and I don't think it's long. No, it's a little over 300 pages. It's not that long. I'm sure I'm gonna eat it up. Yeah, but like besides that, I'm not really reading anything right now that's like physically in my hand. I will be getting started on my next TBR of choice though. I don't know which one. I think I'm gonna start Tommy next, which is very exciting. That's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, thank you so much. If you would like to follow me on social media, it'll all be linked down in the description below. And if you'd like to tell me any books that you have been reading in the past like month, let me know. It is officially fall, so I feel like everyone's kind of reading for the ambiance and atmosphere of fall. At least that's how I have been perceiving like a lot of bookish content lately. Like, everyone loves fall because we all choose specific books to read in the months of fall, and I think that that's very beautiful. Fall brings the book community together in a way that I just think is magnificent. So if you're reading anything that you would like me to read or that you would just like to tell me about, leave it down in the comments below, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you've read any of these books that I have mentioned, let me know. I love to hear people's opinions. I'm a booktuber. That's kind of what I do this for. So yeah, I think that's it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.